You ready now? Okay. Once again, everybody, welcome to, your favorite podcast. What's it called?
Riffin with Griffin, yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Riffin with Griffin! Yeah! Okay, this is the singing mic. I always offer to the guests.
You don't know how old he is. What's his race? You have no idea. Why is he talking to a midget this week?
I like the singing mic. I like it.
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Riffin with Griffin! And we have a special guest this week. Ladies and welcome to the podcast, Mr. Brad Williams!
Timing. That was great. That was like produced and everything.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
Didn't know about it, man. That felt like Al Green was bringing me on the podcast. That was great.
I know. Well, thank you. And everybody, thanks to my guest this week. This is Mr. Brad Williams.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Are you comfortable? Because you look like you're not comfortable, but is that just like a...
I twitch. I'm always moving.
Okay, that's cool.
And I don't look comfortable because my feet don't touch the ground in the chair. Okay, I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I said that like Cosby. My feet don't touch the ground in the chair. No, but my legs don't touch the ground in the chair, so they're constantly moving.
Right.
They're kind of like I
get it. That is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Actually, I've never seen your legs like that before. I wish people.
Well, because you always see me standing.
They're a little hairy too. I didn't even.
Oh yeah, I got hairs. I got hairs and everything. Don't make me bust out the feet because the feet are definitely Hobbit feet. Like I got. Do you have hair on your feet?
Yes, I do. Look, I have hair on my toes.
Yeah,
and
so do I.
It's just like this. It's like I'm in mid-werewolf transformation at all
it's
times.
Like it's you're in that scene where like he's turning into the werewolf,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden the moon went behind the cloud.
Yeah, and I have to be like, just run. You know what I mean? I always feel like I'm in that position right
You're
there.
right in the position where you look at all the people not turning into werewolf and go, "Get away from me!"
That's exactly what
You're right in that position.
and I've shaved this.
Run
before.
for your lives.
I've shaved this.
You shaved your knuckles?
Yeah, but it grows back even more, so it's kind of a nightmare. And listen, I always have to tell the guests because I thought I had this figured out, but like I know it sounds like there's an echo, but it's actually a Pro Logic X thing that I'm getting some kind of double monitoring.
Way above my pay grade.
Okay, but when it comes out, you're not gonna hear it. This is just uncomfortable when we're filming, but you kind of get used to it. But I just don't want you to think like it's gonna be on the thing.
Now you shave.
I have to say this every fucking time.
you shave your knuckle hair. My most embarrassing, like I'm getting older thing, is I've recently had to start tweezing my ear hair.
Oh, you're tweezing it?
Yeah.
What? You mean your wife is tweezing it?
I mean, yeah, that's why you get married.
Yeah,
just for that.
I'm also going to light a candle from Hangover Candle Company. Get a little ambiance going.
Right, I
Get
like
a
it.
little ambiance.
Hangover Candle Company.
Yeah, the guy, he'll send you some candles to your podcast too. You
I
should
love
send some
it.
to Brad.
Yeah.
No, but anyways,
like,
so you're tweezing your ear hairs.
just right inside the ear. And not a lot of hair. Just like one will be like, bing!
You know what's frustrating?
And
is like
very frustrating.
As you get older, you don't even realize you have those kind of problems.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know until like I was at the barber, you know, and then the guy was like, "Do you want me to get these ear hairs?" And I was like, "I don't got no ear hair."
Hairs? What are you talking about?
It's like when you say I don't snore. I don't snore.
Yeah. How would you know? Like, the barber kind of looks at you like, "Hey, this randomness on the back of your neck. Do you want me to clean this shit up?" You're like, yeah.
And I hate that.
That.
Actually, I hate that so much because like I dye my hair sometimes, you know, like half the time. But like I don't dye it to the point where I have to keep it up. You know, I just dye it, then it goes out. So you know, because I like the blend. I like having a little some gray,
got a little salt and pepper.
But what happens is though on your neck, the neck hairs just grow out like you're fucking Moses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I'm always having to be like, oh, can you clean this up? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
this has been Neck Hair Chat with Eric and Brad, the hottest new podcast on iTunes. Neck Hair Chat for men over 35.
No, it's good though. But tell me though, like it's like this is a weird thing because it's like I don't even know how long we've known each other. We've known each other for so many years. I've been on your guys' you and Adam Ray's podcast.
Yeah, you were
so
the
many
inventor
times.
of Quick Fat.
No, that was his thing.
Well,
I just
it was
made
his
it
thing,
famous.
but you made it famous. You were on the episode where Quick Fat, which is for those of you who did not listen to those episodes, that's a reference to Adam because Adam was a fat kid but still fat.
Yeah,
but still fast.
Yeah. He was an athletic fat kid.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've known you for so long, but it's like I always say like we know each other, but we don't really know each other.
Let's get in deep, Eric.
I know. I'm just saying. Like,
first of all,
where are you from?
I'm from Orange County, California.
Oh, I didn't know you were from California. See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know you were from California.
I'm an OC boy, so I grew up here. I didn't have to have that moment, which I'm always in awe of comics and anyone really that has had to have the moment where like they live in Indiana. They're like, okay,
yeah,
let's go to LA and make my dream. Like I never had to do that. Like while I was working on my dream, I could still go get my laundry done at my mom's house. Right. So it was very much an advantage in that way. Like,
yeah, me too. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Why did you grow up there?
I grew up in LA. Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. I was an LA boy too.
Yeah.
Now the question that everybody wants to know is, do you hate Peter Dinklage?
Of course. Of course I hate him.
Stupid.
I want his career. Yeah.
Do you? You have your own great career.
No. It's a thing where it's like he's just better at me. He's better than me at everything. Like
no.
I
Can
know
you do
that
stand up. I don't know if he could do stand up.
I don't know. Like, see, I'm worried that someone's gonna whisper in his ear, like, "Hey, Peter, you should do stand up," because he'll be like, "Yes,
no,
I will."
No, even worse, he's gonna start a podcast.
Dinking with Dinklage. It's going to be Dinking with Dinklage.
Yeah.
Dropping dimes with Dinklage. He's going to be doing like fantasy football reports. Oh, God. But he's just better.
But do you think is that like a thing though, that like when you're, what's your proper term that we should call you? Your dwarf comic?
What's your pronoun?
Yeah. Little person?
Yeah, I say little person, dwarf, midget. I say all three of them. Most midgets don't like being called midgets. So you don't say that. But
when did that start?
I don't know.
When was it like
I was always told, like, have you ever been told something as a kid and then you grew up thinking it and then you got to be an adult and you're like, oh, but why is that? Like, yes, I was told that, but why?
I feel like tall white people made that choice for you.
Yeah. Like, well, and
you know what I mean?
And maybe that's what happened because there's a group called LPA, and that's Little People of America, and that's kind of like our little social network, and it's been going for a while.
Nothing snazzy about that name. I
Yeah,
wish it had more pop to it.
But then when the group was founded, it was called Midgets of America.
Oh.
So for me, it's like, dude, you can't be like, we're the Midgets of America. You're the Midgets of America. You can't say that word. It's like, I don't get that.
Because there's already Mall of America, so it's kind of like
ours would be a kiosk, just right next door. Very tiny. We're just selling iPhone cases. So funny? That's it.
It's kind of ironic that the biggest mall in America is called MOA, and then like the littlest people in America.
Yeah, we
MOA.
were MOA. Yeah, Midgets of America.
So there's no like I wish there was like a story you can be like, there's like a guy. He's like, sir, something. He decided in 1978.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We will no longer say
so
midget.
let it be said. So let it be done. And he had not like a big rubber stamp. It just looked really big in his hand.
Yeah.
But like, and then and got it notarized or whatever. But yeah, I don't know where the whole midget is offensive thing got started. I don't know when it was decided, and I've never had anyone really explain it to me to where, because like there's other slurs out there that like you hear where they came from, you're like, oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Like I get it why that word means something bad because it's in reference to this thing. No one's ever given me that good explanation about the word midget where it's like someone said that P.T. Barnum kind of made it popular talking about Tom Thumb, but I don't know. That's not to me like.
Oh, that's so funny. Are you like up on all the little people? Like, is it like these are like?
Well, yeah, I kind of have to be.
Thumbelina.
Yeah. Tom Thumb, Thumbelina. I know them. They're my boys. Billy Barty. What do you know about Billy Barty, son? Yeah. Well, it's like I kind of have to be because for a lot of people, I'm the reference. I'm their Dwarfapedia. Like where they can just like
Dwarfapedia.
Where they can just
that
like
should
look
be
at
website.
Yeah, DWARFapedia.com, where
Yeah.
they can just like look at me like, hey, so what's up with Vern Troyer? Like, and then I can say like,
right.
oh, here's Vern. He's dead. But he's a different kind of little person than me. This is my kind of dwarfism. This was his.
And now I feel bad because I feel like I guess you don't necessarily want to talk about that all the time.
I'm okay with it.
But it's like that's like the baby elephant in the room. You know what I mean?
But at least see, here's the thing. At least you did it in the form of a joke. So like you went like, hey, you hate Peter Dinklage, right?
Yeah, right.
Like it was that. I did a because when we go on the road, we always have to do those like
dumb morning radio.
Wake up with Cleveland,
oh my
which
God,
is the worst shows.
When
They're the
I'm
worst
thinking
shows.
about it right now, they
Yeah.
must be terrible with you.
Yo, it's awful.
Because they just look at the bio and they'll
Yeah.
just be like,
and that's it.
so you've been little all your life.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
No, it was a degenerative condition. I ate some expired milk and then shrunk down. No, but like so, I was getting ready to do one of those shows, and I peeked over at the lady's card that has all the questions and the topics, just so she doesn't get lost. And all it said was Peter Dinklage, not like about Peter Dinklage, not what do you think about it, just Peter Dinklage.
Oh,
and
no.
so I looked at that and I saw that, I was like, okay, so don't let you talk. And as soon as they went, all right, appearing this weekend at the whatever Funny Bone, it's Brad Williams. I just went in, talked jokes, talked about the weather guy, how he fucked up, and like, and then did the whole segment like she barely said anything.
Yes,
Just
sometimes you have to do that, or anytime
Take over.
To me, anytime they go to your bio. Like
Yeah.
when they start talking to your bio is when I want to take over. I start asking them questions. I was like, please don't ask me. Are you going to ask me like, oh, you quit your job and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's all you care about?
The same thing.
That's just freaking talk. But I guess that's just.
And I guess they have a lot going on, so they can't do, they can't like Walter Cronkite you and do like some in-depth profiles. They just like go to your Wikipedia page or whatever the hell.
So,
but yeah.
So this has been, I guess it's like, so being like, see, first of all, I feel like the word dwarf is worse than midget.
Yeah, a lot of people do, because it's
Okay.
like because we've been integrated with dwarf and like, oh, when you play Golden Axe, you could be the barbarian, the wizard, or the dwarf.
Right.
So or like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So
Right.
it seems very fantasy. It's
Yeah.
like, no, that's not a real thing. That's not what we actually call them. That's like a fantasy thing. And it's like, no, I mean, technically I have achondroplastic dwarfism. So it's like the medical term.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's weird because like you say, it doesn't sound right, but then it is. But then, then if you say little person, it's just like that's condescending as fuck.
Does it see? Oh man,
You're just a little person.
Right.
You're like a person, not quite a person.
Well, I think it's worse when somebody's just short.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
I've talked to short comics about this,
Yeah, you know
and
what I mean?
they look at me like, dude, you're so lucky.
yeah, because you get the tax breaks. you
Yeah,
get the-
yeah. It's like,
You
dude,
get the parking.
because like I'm 4'4", like, and it's like, all right, there is a medical term for me. I have a condition. If you're a full-grown adult male and you're like 5'2",
Yeah,
it's
get
just
the fuck out of here.
I feel bad, man. Like, and that's weird that I look at you and go, "Oh, that sucks." Like you're in some weird in between phantom zone where like you're not accepted by either culture.
I know when you're like 5'2", you're like Blade. You have but the reverse Blade. You have none of their strengths and all of their weaknesses.
No parking.
Yeah.
None of that.
You know what's funny?
No big ass.
I'll tell you
great
I'll
ass.
tell you what was funny about you is like, you baby do got backs.
Yeah.
Before you got married, because you've been married. How long you been married now?
2 years.
You've been married 2 years. But before that, I really honestly got sick of seeing you out places with tall, hot ass women.
Yeah.
That was so annoying. I'm just gonna be honest. I remember I saw you one time at the 3rd Street Promenade, and I saw you with this bad chick, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
There's a website you can rent them. No. Here's what it is, and it was. I definitely have like that little man syndrome where like Napoleon complex.
Oh,
where,
so your personality is strong.
Yeah, and I want to show everyone like, oh, you think I'm only gonna be with because like, oh,
That's
he's
true,
gonna be with his like I feel like there's a lot of fat guys that want to be with like that hot thin woman.
That's what I'm with, a hot thin woman.
There you go. It's what you want. Like, we all want it, but there's a little extra because it's like you're overcoming something and you're proving it to people.
And you know what? By the way, it didn't work for me until I just didn't care anymore, and it just like I just had full confidence in my value.
Yeah,
and that's when I started like going out with like it was crazy. You know?
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
no,
So,
it didn't. Yeah, it didn't start with me until I started like headlining, because then I had the confidence to be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. Like, you should want to be with me. You know,
right?
So, but yeah, there was a time, and now it's so weird to think about those days now, because it's just now it's like just not.
Now let me ask you: were you meeting chicks on the internet, or were you just walking up to chicks and going like this, "Yo, girl,"
and then they just
grabbing
turn
their
around.
blouse like, "Yo, come here."
Yeah,
and then they're so non-threatened. They're just like, "Oh my god, you're adorable." And then you started giving them that man shit, and they were like, "Ooh, what's going on?"
So he's like,
here?
"Little buddy's a man."
I'm feeling something.
So, like, he's a dude, but if I want to leave, I can? Because he's not going to be like...
You can't hold me down?
Yeah, I can't be like, no, you're staying here. Like that's not happening, so...
Wait, I'm going to turn you down.
Yeah.
I forgot how loud... See, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I got it set for little dude.
You got it set for little man, but big voice. Big voice.
That's what I'm saying. You're like I like keeping that kind of stuff in. You know?
Yeah. No, but so that definitely happened, and then just as you've known as you go on stage and you become. It's amazing how many people, and we don't realize this because we do this for a living. How many people can't talk.
Right.
And it's getting worse because of like everyone's communicating with text and social media and stuff.
So annoying.
Where people like don't know how to communicate. Like, have you ever met someone where it's like when you're texting with them, it's flowing, it's good, it's like, oh, jokes, and then you talk with them, you're like,
oh, you're not even the same person.
Yeah, what happened to text guy? You're not. We can't hang.
Oh, well, that's just like people on the internet that talk a bunch of shit, and they're just like even when you challenge them on the internet, they'll be like, "Well, I didn't know you were gonna respond." And
it's like, oh no, what?
I'm a big fan, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
like, God, I've had that so many times.
Yeah, like what are you? Oh, now you're a big fan.
Yeah. Now, so what you were doing is you were just saying some insulting shit to get attention.
Yeah. It's just weird. But like, okay, so let me ask you about this then. So, it's like, all right, so I'm a mixed race comic,
Sure.
Chubby guy right now and all that, So like when I'm on stage, it's like that's one of the things. That's my thing.
Yeah.
So I don't ever talk about. I'm not one of these comics. Not that I have anything wrong with this, but I'm not one of those comics like, oh, I'm half this and I'm half that. So that means I could steal and I get like,
Right.
I don't
that
do
joke
it like
that
that.
Every mixed race comic has.
So I don't really like, I don't like talk about it. Even when people ask me, and I just say, it doesn't matter. But I get how that's like a thing. So has that been something for you? This whole time doing stand-up, it was like it's not like you could just walk on, you can't just waddle on stage and then be like and never mention it. People are gonna be like, he's not even gonna say anything.
Does he know? Did this just happen to him today?
Yeah. Was there a wizard that cast
He's not
a spell?
aware. Yeah. No, that. And if you read like YouTube comments and like hateful comments, the vast majority of them are just say something like, he's short, we get it. And I'm like, okay. There's multiple layers to that where it's like, yes, I cannot just go on stage and just not mention it at all. It's also who I am. I don't know how to write jokes from the perspective of a 5'8", 5'10" guy,
or observational.
I don't know. I've never lived that life.
When you tall.
Yeah, and also like it's also something that it's really hard for me to not mention something if literally I'm reminded about it every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Whether it be online, whether it be out just walking around and someone stares, some kid says some shit, some adults say some shit.
Right.
Like it's hard to be like, oh, so just ignore that thing that everyone reminds me about whenever I go on a morning radio show.
Or a podcast.
Like, do you think the host is just like, so basketball's back, let's talk about it. Like they're not.
They should be.
Yeah. No, and now don't get me wrong. I'm getting more and more to that point because now now I have actual fans that have seen me 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah, they know what they're getting.
So now I can move on and not just like because I had lunch with a comic the other day that saw my act and goes, yeah, you're really like not talking about dwarfism all that much anymore. I go, yeah, because I did 2 audio albums and 2 Showtime specials, and pretty much those were the vast majority of them were all dwarf jokes.
Yeah, right.
So it's like I'm covered. I've hit everything.
I guess you don't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. That's why I'm just curious for you. Do you feel like so you're feeling less pressure now to actually have to talk about it?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. This is still the little person experience is still an experience that not a lot of people know, not a lot of people understand. So they are curious about it. Like, and there's not a lot of things where it's like, okay, and so like if a black comic goes on stage and says, oh, I got stopped by the cops, like we all kind of know that stereotype already. Like we know that. Like you say like, oh, I'm Mexican. We go, okay, so these stereotypes. Bah, 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 bah. Like we don't necessarily have that for little people. Well, the stereotypes aren't real, first of all. Like, the stereotypes for us are like, we live in a tree and we make cookies and we're Willy Wonka. It's like, oh, but where's the real one?
Yeah.
Where's the one where it's like...
the real ones? I don't know what they are.
I mean, for me, big ass. Like, that's mine. And I know that's the second time I mentioned it, so I'm really trying to call attention to my butt. But yeah, like, that would be one where I'm like, okay, like, you would have to go to physical characteristics. So I have a chondroplastic dwarfism. Big ass, collapsed nose bridge, large head, average size torso, tiny arms, tiny legs. Like that would be, and like you say, when you say waddle up to the stage, I kind of waddle a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's because you got that big fat ass.
Yeah, waddle baby, waddle. Yeah, and and here's the thing, achondroplast dwarves like myself, we have a run too. And it's I didn't think I did the run.
Dude, anytime you do videos, like those slow-mo videos of you trying to do anything, that is my shit. I just anytime like that one where you like I thought it was like, is he gonna dunk? Like you had the little rim and I was like, and it's just the way you did it. It was just like
I was at the Basketball Hall of Fame and they have like a 10-foot rim, an 8-foot rim, a 6-foot rim, and then all the way down to like a 5-foot rim because they're like, well, everyone could dunk on a 5-foot rim. Nope.
Yeah.
Because also my arms don't go like. So when you see LeBron just like throw his arm back and come forward for like a tomahawk, I don't do that.
Way over, like, look, I have little arms.
Yeah,
so
my arm is right at my head.
And the basketball's that size.
Yeah, so it's like, and I can't palm it, so I'm not like doing that. So like those.
So you're not tomahawk dunking, is what you're saying?
No. God, it was
that's not in the repertoire.
It was so funny because I was on some podcast or some radio show and I had mentioned that I had tried out for my junior high basketball team and the coach cut me because obviously. Yeah. And then that coach heard that, came to one of my shows, and then said, "I didn't cut you because you were a dwarf. I cut you because you're not a good dribbler." Yeah. Like he's like that's why I cut you, and I'm like, oh,
you really got him. That's funny.
Yeah.
I used to be a basketball coach, so I totally understand. Like,
yeah,
I'd be like, I'd cut you too. It's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I can't,
because you know what you do. It's like anytime, like if you would have been like, we live in a society now where they're like, no, let him be on the team, and like, no, because if you can't succeed at it.
Yeah.
Then
you're
making that person feel bad.
Yeah. Why should I continue? That's like marrying a girl that you know you're going to divorce. It's like, why go down that road if you know it's not going to end?
Well,
why like
pressure?
Yeah, a lot of pressure. But like, why? Yeah, but why like tell the kid like, no, you're good, and it's like, no, but he's not.
You know what I learned? Let me tell you how I learned that.
Yeah.
Like a real world example of learning that. So. Again, so I was the coach. I there was this one kid I put on the team. Mm-hmm. You know, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Now later, like years later, he's out of high school.
Okay.
And we're just having a conversation. He comes back to an alumni thing, whatever. He's talking to me. He goes, "Let me ask you something. Why'd you put me on the team?" He goes, "I know I sucked." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Well, everybody was pulling for you and all this."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, but when you put me on the team, I felt I deserved it. And when I wasn't playing, it made me feel like, well, why am I not on the court? I made the team."
Oh.
I never did it again after that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what these people out here, these fucks with their like, everybody deserves a medal and all this kind of stuff. No. Sports is a pure thing. It brings, and it's like I should have. So after that, I was like, if you deserve it, you're going to be on a team.
Yeah.
You try out, you earn it, you're going to be on a team. If you don't earn it, you're not going to be on a team.
That's what I love about sports. Is that it is the closest thing we have. Like, you don't get to make the Lakers because LeBron James is your dad.
Right.
Like, you have to actually be good.
And
like,
actually, even the small nepotism that there might be,
sure,
that person still has to prove themselves.
Absolutely. Like,
You know?
There's plenty of jobs that you can have because your dad runs the company. But no one looks at Steph Curry and goes, "Oh, he's only there because Del Curry is his dad."
Exactly.
Nobody looks at it.
No one even thinks of it
No,
like that.
'cause
He's so much better than his dad.
Yes,
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
So
it's
he's
like-
draining threes, and
Yeah,
you're just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, that's
yeah.
why he's there because he's
Exactly.
doing that. So that's why I love sports. Comedy is close, but see, here's
I would say it's
But
not
see,
as
here's-
close as it should be.
exactly. Here's the difference: is that someone looks at Kawhi Leonard do some shit. No, barely anyone looks at him and goes, "I can do that."
Right.
Problem with stand-up is when we're good at it, our job is to make the whole audience go, "Oh yeah, I can do that."
Well, here's the thing too, though. But even on that same logic,
funny.
on that same logic line, though, is like I think that in our business, what's happening is there are people in the NBA, not people outside of the NBA.
Yeah.
There's bench warmers. There's people that aren't as good as Kawhi Leonard,
Yeah.
who are in the NBA going, man, I should be starting.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in the comedy business.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
so there's like these like would-be comics
Yeah.
who are looking at the lineups and they're like, you know, why am I not on this lineup? Or the biggest one I can't stand is like, why aren't there any women? How come there's no women on the lineup? Like at the Comedy Store thing, it's
Yeah.
like, how does that make you feel? Because I always think it's funny to me that like if some woman's going to you and going like, hey, oh my God, look at this. This is all men. There's all men, Brad.
Yeah, be like-
you're like, count the little dudes.
Yeah.
Count the dwarfs
One.
around the country doing stand up. Like, get
Me
the fuck
and
out of
Nick
here.
Nowicki.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I can't. That shit
Yeah.
pisses me off so much.
And the question is always, all right, who do you take off? Do you take off Mark Maron? Do you take off Sebastian? Do you take off Ron White? And who do you replace them with? Now, if you're saying like, oh, I'm replacing, if you're saying like so and so with Eliza Schlesinger or
She's
so-and-so
already
with-
on the list.
It's like great, she's killing it, awesome. She's amazing, and it's really like I feel bad for Adam who makes the lineups at the Comedy Store because he has to do this dance that's
I know.
so difficult.
I know.
Well, that's like, all right, so you have to have so if you look at the Comedy Store lineup, the first spot is usually like someone who works there.
Yeah, door person.
Or just got passed,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever. Then it does like one or two like I don't want to say lower level headliners, but like you know what, like they're not selling out theaters. Let's just say that, like they're doing clubs. Great, and then it goes to like 4 or 5 monsters. That's when you get your Rogan, Seguras, your Diaz, your Kreischers, your Lizas, all that. And then after that, it goes back to like the lower level headliners that are like doing clubs and doing well. And then you have to have 4 or 5 spots that are just okay.
They just got in and they're
just coming
they're
in.
working in. Yeah,
like
they're
you
still
don't
part
have
of the family.
Yeah, like you don't have a huge following, but we want to get you some stage
I
time.
don't even know if that even stuff even has to do with it. I don't necessarily agree with your assessment of how they do the lineup. I don't really agree with that assessment in terms of that. I just think it's like, you know, you put your time in, whatever it is you're doing, and like, you know, he has to think you're funny. You have to have a good response from the crowd, along with some of those things. But all I'm saying though is that like I can't stand this whole idea that like, you know, because like the women that can be on the lineup are on the lineup.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're great.
Yeah, you know, Whitney Cummings, Nikki, Ali Wong, Elijah Schlesinger,
Annie Letterman,
Annie, like all the
fucking
people that should be on the lineup are on the lineup.
Laura Bites is getting a ton of spots right now, and she's killing it.
I'm just saying this-
Carmen Morales, like there's so many. But
So
like
the problem is
yeah.
this like most comic like a majority of comics are not funny.
Yeah.
Okay, this is you know, this is why the Comedy Store lineup is it stays steady because it's
Yeah.
like we're looking for people that could do that.
Right.
It's not so. A majority of comics are men. So we're just saying is that the percentage of not funny to funny is pretty high.
Right.
So therefore, there's less women in comedy. So a lot of them are not going to be funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just just how it goes.
If there's, let's say there's, and this is not obviously a science, I'm literally just coming up with these numbers, but let's say there's 100 male comics.
Yeah.
And let's say 10% of comics are funny.
Yeah.
And that's pretty high. That means there's 20 funny comics in that 100.
10.
Or 10%?
You said 10%.
Yeah. So that. Oh yeah. So that. Sorry, I can't do math. So that would mean there's 10 funny comics.
So there's 90 unfunny comics who think they deserve to be on the lineup.
So now, and I would say like for every 100 male comics, there's 10 female comics.
Right. So only one of them.
That means just one of them is funny.
And let's say 2 of them are funny.
Yeah. And that's if you're doing the same math.
Yeah.
And that's not to say women are not funny, because obviously there's enough women that are hilarious to prove that women are funny. It's just a sheer numbers game.
You know what I've been doing?
And I feel bad for them too, because I know that it's harder to break in.
It is. They're not getting the same opportunities. And so what I've done is I do a show at the Lab, at the Hollywood Improv. I do it once a month. I call it Erik and Friends. You know what I mean? It's not as big as Joe Rogan and Friends. You know, he sells out and makes thousands of dollars. You know, I get like 30 people to come.
Yeah. You got your nice
But what I started doing is
check,
every other month I would do like Erik and his female friends.
Yeah.
You know, and then, or if I do Erik and Friends, I try to make sure it's like 50-50. Because like I'm hearing it. Yeah. And I go, okay, so you're not getting opportunities. I go, all right, I'm a male comic who has a little bit of influence in the town, like at the clubs. I can be like, all right, so here's what I do. Like I had this chick on the other day, her name's Sherry Cola. Never met her before.
Don't know the name.
Never met her before. Yeah. She just hit me up randomly on saying, "Hey, can I do your show?" And I was like, you know, what they don't realize is like if you're a female comic, you're in LA, you ask me to do the show, I'm like, okay, because it's hard to find female comics,
right?
You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
And I'm just recycling the same one. So anyway, she was killing the other night. Like I was like, oh, this chick's really funny. So I do understand. So that. I have taken my part to be like, all right, I'm gonna take it upon myself to to help, but it's like because I can't stand when I look at the Comedy Store lineup and then some like idiot from the internet is like, oh, there's no women. I go, take another look at the lineup. It's still mostly white.
Yeah.
So don't take away from what I had to do to struggle to get to the spot that I'm at, where I'm in the lineup and it's like Crystalia, Joe Rogan, then me. Yeah. Okay, so I had to work my ass. I'm not going to get it taken away because somebody who's like didn't go through what I went through or isn't as good, you going to take my spot away because for to fill a quota? Yeah. Fuck you.
And that's the other thing when we say how hard it is for Adam to make a lineup. He got to make a lineup every night based on who's in town.
I know.
That's A, great. B, all right, you got your white men, you got your women, you got your black comics. Okay, can we throw an Asian on there? Brad's in town. All right, midget, pull. like we're just like he's trying to like make everybody happy. Okay, is Robin Tran in okay, transgender comic. Boom. Like you're just throwing up everybody. Justin Martindale, gay comic. Like he's trying to check all the boxes, and there's only so many spots to check the boxes.
And I hate the box checking. I just wish it was more like sports.
Yeah.
I wish it was more of a meritocracy, but it's just not.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing to realize. And here's the thing. I know that as a little person comic, I'm aware that maybe I've been given some opportunities because I'm a little person. I'm totally aware of that. But at the same time, I then had to be funny to continuously get those opportunities.
Right. Getting the door open is one thing, but staying inside,
that's tough.
That's the talent. When you look at like, you know, because I know I do this. I mean, I do this as who I am. I look at, I'll go out for an audition, and then I say I don't get the part, and then I look at that thing and I go, this motherfucker got it. You know.
I recently had one of those moments.
Yeah, I'm saying so. It's like because like. This is so weird because I already feel like there's not enough parts for me. Yeah. So I can't even imagine.
Oh, bro. Do you know how mad I was that I wasn't a little fucker in Joker?
Oh, yeah, I know.
And I auditioned for that role.
Oh, man.
I was so mad. And it's like sometimes someone does a performance and you're like, oh, that's what they were looking for. I definitely did not do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I get it. And I don't want to take anything away from this actor because I don't want to take money out of someone's pocket. And
here comes the shade.
And he did a great job.
Here comes the hate.
He did a great job. But I was looking at it like, I fucking didn't do anything. Like, I did that. Like,
hey, what else I'm saying? You know what it is? It's
there's only one spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Someone's got to get it, and he got it. And who knows?
That was such a great scene.
It was
such a great scene.
And I read it, so I knew it was coming, and I was like, so I was just like watching it, like,
you know, I didn't laugh. Some people laughed, but I didn't laugh. I was terrified.
Oh, as a midget, I am terrified of that scene.
I was. That's true too, because you had that. Yeah,
I'm like, because that's
where are you going, Brad?
Yeah. I can't reach the lock. Like
Yeah.
that's like a dwarf horror story. Oh, the
Yeah.
calls are coming from inside the house. You get it so you can leave, but now you can't leave because it's locked and you can't reach the. What the fuck?
That was so great. What'd you think of the Joker?
Loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great
Loved
too.
it. Here's my thing about that movie is like
Go on, let's talk about it.
every other depiction of the Joker was like, and don't get me wrong, I love all the depictions of the Joker. I stirred a little, but like
You know what? By the way,
different. It's different.
I'm about to say, let's go back to before you go on.
Yeah.
Cause you finish because
Yeah.
I want to talk about
Sure.
because you trashed Jared Leto, but I think he
Joker rankings.
Yeah, the Joker. Let's do our Joker rankings.
Oh, sure. I did a tweet about this and it got like
let's go.
more.
Let's go. Let's do it.
It got like more retweets and whatever. So, my thing about Joker movie is that this was like the first time. Every other depiction of the Joker, he was this fantastical evil, like this
Right.
crazy, like you know, like a comic book villain, where you're like, wow,
and he always fell in a vat of chemicals, so we always gave him that excuse that
Yeah.
it's the chemicals that fucked with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then this was the first depiction of the Joker where I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this could happen. Like
right.
this could like I know people, I know things, I know some people are
Well, by the
having
way,
those stresses.
by the way, this has happened. You know, it's like Ed
Yeah.
Kemper and like all these serial killers that they do putting on these shows, and like Manson and like so those are our real life jokers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. Okay, so here are my personal Joker rankings, and this was in a tweet. No, number one for me is still Heath Ledger. I thought Heath Ledger's
Why?
like, God, because on the page it said, "Here we go." Heath Ledger did that and went, okay, and then made it, and here we go.
Uh-huh.
And he did, and that's just one example. But he did that whole character. He created that whole character and did it in a way that we had not seen before. Like you could argue that maybe in The Killing Joke, that the actual comic book, The Killing Joke,
Right.
Like that's where we saw that kind of version of the Joker. But he made it so dark, and he was one of the first ones to actually do it that way.
Right.
That like I'm like, bro, that
Thanks to Nolan. I think Nolan
Yeah.
reinvented the superhero
yeah,
genre.
but that version of the Joker to me is still my favorite. And also, these are my personal Joker rankings.
Yeah, but by the way,
this isn't Rolling Stone
Well, that is
doing
okay.
like their
This is like-
200 best singers going, no, Bob Dylan number 7, Whitney Houston number 37. Shut the fuck up, and that's how it is. No,
okay.
shut up.
Well, if I may,
Sure.
I think that they're on par with each other too, because I'm sure your number 2 is going to be Joaquin Phoenix.
It is. Yep.
Okay, so my reasoning for them being like 1A, 1B
Yeah.
is because of what they had to work with. I would love to see Heath Ledger doing a rated R version.
Yeah.
Because that was PG-13, and he still
True.
found a way to be like, and they still had to tone that back.
Yeah.
They had to tone it back. So I don't know. Would he have been too much rated R?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. So
maybe the tone back is what kind of helped it be so terrifying because
Exactly.
it was shit you didn't see.
and then maybe if he would have had free reign,
Yeah.
maybe it would have been too much. Who knows?
Yeah. So number 3, and this for some people.
Well, why'd you like Joaquin Phoenix? Go to number 2
God.
first.
Just because of the realism of just you played this, and I saw in Joaquin Phoenix a guy. You saw the torment. You saw what led to it, because it's like when you're watching like the backstory of Darth Vader, you go, how the fuck does a guy get to be that evil?
Right.
And then I was kind of disappointed with all the things that happened to make
Don't
to make
even
him
get
that
me
evil. I'm like,
started.
no, you had a bad day. That's
Yeah.
not it. That's not it. So
yeah, you don't go from like 1 second you're a hero and then you're killing kids.
yeah, you're like cutting kids in half.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, you're
that
like,
was
no,
the worst
bro,
turn in movie
bro,
history.
No, but like. You saw him. He's got the shitty life. He fantasizes. He projects, and then the life doesn't happen. And he every now and then he gets a break, and then he doesn't, and then he gets made fun of, and he's got this condition, and he's got mental illness and all those things. And you saw it build. And
I know,
you saw
and then
it
the
build.
system failed him.
Yes.
You know, that's another thing
And so
too that
now
I
he's
thought
like-
was a nice element to it.
Right, to where you didn't see him being evil to hurt people. You saw him being evil to hurt the system.
Yeah,
And to be like, no, I'm burning the system down.
Right.
Fuck this. And I loved it. So like when I say Heath and Joaquin, for me, yeah, I guess for me it's kind of like what you said, like a 1A, 1B. Like they're just
because they were just different films, different genres.
And this is one that got me a lot of heat when I put this one at number 3. Mark Hamill.
Oh, I totally. If you're gonna go, actually, I mean, there's an argument for him being number 1.
Yeah, because that voice.
Yeah.
When you
he's
hear,
the quintessential Joker character.
That's the Joker voice.
Yeah,
and he created that. That was not given to him. That was not being like, hey, do a voice that's. He goes Joker. How would he sound? Boom, and just hits that and hits that voice, whether it be in Batman the animated series, a couple of animated movies, the Batman games, dude. He was the voice in those two, and it's just
he's great.
Killer. So I
actually have no problem with him being number 3.
Yeah.
So Jack Nicholson is number 4.
No, he's not.
Oh,
not for me.
Ugh. Who's number 4 then?
Cesar Romero.
Oh, okay. So you got camp all in the middle.
Yeah.
I like it. That's from my childhood.
Yeah, and like I really liked Batman 66.
I'm not mad at it.
When I was growing up.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
You're a kid.
Bam!
Yeah.
Pow!
Yeah. Someone's like, you didn't even shave off his mustache for the white makeup. I don't give a shit. I never noticed until we got high definition.
Yeah.
You go back. Yeah, I didn't notice that shit as a kid. That Joker to me was the exact Joker I needed as a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old to get me into Batman.
Okay.
Like it was that. It's that fun. It's that campy. It's that. Oh, dude, this is cool. Like
totally polar opposites of like the
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't show Joaquin Phoenix to a 4-year-old and be like, that's Joker. You'd be like, ah, like, that'd be terrified. You need a Cesar Romero to get people into it. 5 is Jack, and that hurts me because I love Jack. I love Jack as the Joker.
I know, but that particular I'm not necessarily a fan of that Batman, but of those like Batman. So you don't even have Jared Leto on the list? It's just top 5?
No, I had him on the list in my tweet as number 627.
Why I take umbrage with that. But okay. I thought Jack Nicholson was I thought he added some credibility to that movie, but it still was like in a sort of cartoony, campy world. Sure. Like it's in between a cartoon and Batman Begins.
Yes.
That's in between in terms of like the tone.
Yeah, they were still Batman was still wearing a cowl that didn't allow his head to turn around.
Right. And then they went on like and then they went off the rails all the way up to the freaking like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Freeze and all that. God, those were all terrible. But okay, so Jared Leto got a lot of slack. Okay. But personally, I feel like if Heath Ledger's performance did not exist, I think the Jared Leto one would have been like, ooh, I really like that.
I agree. I totally agree.
It's just hard to like when you have that and the guy died, he won an Oscar.
When you follow the guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all right, like when let's say when Tom Brady retires in 15 years.
It's gonna be hard for whoever to.
Who's got to come next?
Yeah.
My God, like you got to follow the guy.
I know.
The standard is you have to be Tom fucking Brady.
I know, dude.
So that's hard.
And so the problem is that movie was bad.
That too.
Okay, so the movie was bad. Yeah. So then even whatever performance he could have given to it, it was out of place in that terrible movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I always thought that I always thought that if they needed to bring somebody to be like in the Nolan ones, I know Heath Ledger died, and I think it ruined the whole series.
Yeah, because they probably would have done Joker 2.
They would have done something different.
Next one. Yeah,
or, you know. But I always thought the one person that could have done it would have been Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and he's in the Nolan universe.
Yes, he's such in the Nolan. I thought he would have been one of the. So when Joaquin Phoenix took up the thing, I was like, oh wow, that's gonna be. I felt like he was gonna be good.
Yeah.
But the only, like I said, I've talked about this already, and I'll talk about it with you. Is like my one problem.
Okay.
My one problem
with the movie Joker.
Okay. He's too old.
Yeah.
Okay. He's 40. Let's just even let's say he's 40
and he encounters
Batman's 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So in 30, because basically 25 years he becomes Batman. This motherfucker's gonna be 70.
Yeah.
You know,
and
he's gonna be old
he's-
man Joker.
Yeah, and like you're still fighting with that
he's
guy.
gonna be Grandpa Joker.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't buy it.
I heard somebody say a theory that, oh no, that's not the Joker that Batman actually fights. That's the Joker that inspires
the real Joker.
The real Joker. And it's like, okay, I'll
know.
take that,
But it's
no.
it's a standalone movie.
Yeah.
They're not making another. So,
Exactly.
So I can
It's
suspend
fine.
my disbelief for
It's
that. But we
fine.
know. See, the thing is, we know there's 3 superheroes.
Yeah.
3 that we know the average person knows their origin story.
Mhm.
Okay. Number 1, Superman.
Yeah.
We know Superman came from Krypton. He lived on a farm in Kansas.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. He became Clark Kent. We
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
The second one is Batman.
Yep.
I mean, that Batman story, people know. Bruce Wayne's parents were killed.
Murdered,
and
and that makes him hate all criminals and be like, fine, I'll fucking
I
kill
think
them all.
close after that is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
People know that story too. With great
Yeah.
power comes great responsibility.
Uncle Ben,
His
yeah,
Uncle
yeah,
Ben
yeah.
died, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
you know. He got bit by a spider.
Yeah.
So we know those origin stories.
Right,
you know?
right.
But it's like so it's hard to like look at Joker and try to ignore the
Yeah, it's
knowledge
like, no,
that we know.
You just had an interaction as a 45-year-old man with a 10-year-old Bruce Wayne. What the
Yeah.
fuck? So he's gonna even 15 years conservatively. He's 25-year-old Batman.
No.
You're now 60. You're like 55.
Yeah.
60.
But
Like
then, but then you think about it. You think about like, but then like even in like you think of Nicholson,
Yeah.
right? He was an older guy
Yeah.
compared to Batman, but fucking Batman was old in the
Yeah.
first Batman.
Keaton was like 35, 40.
Yeah, I wasn't,
Yeah.
and I wasn't with that. I never
Yeah.
liked him as Batman. If I had to rank my Batmans,
Ooh, Batman rankings.
yeah, well, you got your Batman rankings off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I mean, and here's the thing. God. 'Cause-
It's hard. I know it is hard
Yeah.
because
well,
you
like-
want to say Christian Bale, right?
Yeah, but then the voice was a little weird.
The voice thing was
fact that
weird.
And even when he's talking to people that he knows and who knows he is Batman, he's still in the voice.
Well, in case somebody's listening, you know what I mean?
Yeah, even when like he experiences pain, he's always like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Like you're like, dude, really, you're gonna grunt? Because I'm sorry if I'm doing like an improv scene and I gotta do like a British accent or something.
Yeah.
If something falls on my toe, I'm not going, oh fuck. Like
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
like fuck, ah, god damn, like
Yeah.
that, like that's what I'm doing.
Stay in character, Brett.
Yeah. It's like no. It's like, oh, I've been shot by the Joker.
Well,
Like,
okay, so then if we had to like, okay, then I'm not going to say
Kevin Connolly might be my number one.
I'm not going. Who was that?
The voice of Batman.
Oh, this guy in the voice. I'm not going
He's
to.
the first guy to go, I am the Knight. I am Batman. That's the first guy to say that.
Well,
Oh, Kevin
no. But there's a scene in Batman.
Connolly or Conroy? Shit.
There's a scene in Batman Begins that like the best scene in Batman Begins
Mhm.
is when the Commissioner Gordon at the end of the movie, and Commissioner Gordon says like, "I never thanked you," and he goes, "And you'll never have to." And I was like, I was in the theater like, "That's right, Batman." Or he said something like that.
Right.
But what I'll say this though, I think Christian Bale in Batman Begins is the best Batman.
Kevin Conroy, not Kevin Connolly. Kevin Connolly is E from Entourage.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, save your tweets. You thought Kevin Connolly? No,
so
Kevin Conroy. Sorry, I just want to make sure I got it right.
It's a hard choice because you have to think about how good the product is, the overall movie that this is in.
Yeah, 'cause the
you have to
movie
think
has
about
to be
that,
good.
and then you have to think about
Yeah.
you have to weigh it because I am partial to. I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman.
I did too.
I wasn't mad at it, and
Yeah.
I talked about this with Bobby's brother. I thought that Batman fight in Superman Batman when he was going to rescue the mom.
Right.
That was the best Batman shit ever.
because they modeled it like after the video game.
Yes, thank
And it was
you.
so
Somebody,
cool.
The disruptor, the
Yeah.
batarang,
Yeah.
you know, the grappling hook,
The rolling on the
the
ground
rolling
to the next guy, to the next guy, to the next guy.
The only thing, though, but
That's
see, the
pretty
only
great.
thing I didn't like about that Batman is Batman
Yeah.
wouldn't kill people. Batman
Yeah.
is Batman,
And that's his whole mantra. So it's not like you
he's
can
the
be
only
like,
hero that's like that.
yeah,
And that's just bad filmmaking. They
yeah,
didn't.
it's lazy.
They didn't. No, they just didn't. They didn't set up
Mm-hmm.
enough where you believe Batman went over the edge.
Yeah.
They didn't set that up enough.
By the way, how many women do you think are still listening to the podcast right now after we've gone off?
First of all, dude, it's already 95%, 5%. I don't. Well, wait, it's hilarious that you think women have stayed this long. How funny do you think you are? Like, look at us, man. This is like the weirdest cop show on Fox ever. No,
Yeah,
but
man.
I mean, it is what it is.
No, yeah, no, totally. And see, it's funny because in order, like, to go back to your argument, like, you have to consider the whole movie and, like, were they actually good, but the movie was bad? Like,
Yeah. That was Leto's problem.
Like, I might put Val Kilmer up pretty high.
Bro, we're on the same page.
I actually liked Val
I
Kilmer.
loved Val Kilmer too, but the
Yeah.
problem is that was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Like you want to, Jim Carrey was serviceable, but he's been better. At that point, he was so
Yeah.
campy. At that point, Tommy Lee Jones was terrible.
Yeah,
like that was just a terrible movie.
the
the
whole
plot was
thing,
such,
same
but
thing.
I do agree with you. I thought Val Kilmer was pretty
Val
good.
Kilmer did a pretty good
I think
job.
we could pick the worst Batmans before we could pick the best.
Yeah. Like,
You know-
yeah, you just throw out Clooney.
Yeah. Let's go. Why don't we talk more? We should go see movies more. Because like
You just
I'm
think
totally
Clooney.
with you. George Clooney was terrible.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even his Shoemaker.
Yeah, Joel Schumacher. Yeah,
Schumacher,
yeah,
whatever. He
putting
had like nipples
and
on the
butts
fucking thing.
bat
Yeah,
suit
like,
and
what are
all
you
that
doing? This
shit.
is terrible.
One of my favorite moments from because I saw Batman and Robin. That's the Clooney one. One of my favorite is in the opening scene when they're doing the thing with Mr. Freeze and he's making all the ice puns. And
Right.
One is when he goes like activate bat skates and then like the ice skates come out of his feet and then not like 10 seconds afterward you see a shot of them going through and they're wearing rollerblades.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of that movie. And then also when Alicia Silverstone is doing like the bike race,
Bro.
there's spark cannons. There's just cannons like, oh, she went over a jump, so pow, like pyro. Do you think they're doing an illegal street race? Do you think they're like, hold on, we can't start the race yet? Do we have pyro yet? Like, dude,
Yeah, it's
they're
just-
setting up pyro
Just the
for the
worst.
street race.
It's just the worst.
It's just the worst.
That was one of the worst of the superhero movies.
It's the worst movie.
That's in
ever.
the ranks of like I'm saying the worst superhero movies. Period.
Yeah.
That's in there.
Yeah. I liked Kilmer. I liked Bale. I liked I liked Affleck. I liked Adam West because for that.
Adam West was great. Yeah, for the same reason we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's campy. It's good. It's fun. Like I like Kevin Conroy's voice. You know, it's all fun.
So being a nerd and a dwarf, is that
Yeah.
like,
Bro,
does it go hand in hand?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think it does. But there's like there's
For
like-
you though, you seem
yeah.
to,
For me, I'm a little bit in like I like to think that as a comic, I know a little bit about everything. I don't
Right.
know a lot about any one subject, but I know a little bit about everything. I can hang in like most. So you want to talk about nerd culture? Cool. I got some opinions on that. Now it helps that I actually really like that shit.
Yeah, me
but
too.
yeah, you
I
know,
know what you mean.
if we talk about sports, okay, I got that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got the different hats I can wear and because you want to be able to go in any situation and be able to talk about something. And when you look at someone in the audience, you go, hey, what do you do for a living? And they say like, oh, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm a veterinarian, I'm a what? You go, oh, okay, I know 4 things about that. Cool, let's go. Like let's do a joke.
I
Or,
love learning stuff from people like that
Yeah.
too, though. You know,
so something I was doing in my act for a while, I stopped doing it, but I should bring it back, is before I tell the story about how my wife and I met, I ask a couple in the audience, hey, how'd you meet? And then I just listen to what they say and like kind of make fun of it because they're all absurd. Like, like I don't think you have a story that I could just be like, oh wow, yeah, I can't really.
You know what's funny about that?
It's always weird.
You know what's funny? You say that is like I would say, let's say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I think it was like all a secret how people met.
Yeah.
You know, like, or some weird, oh, I got hooked up, or this person set me up, or something like that.
Yeah.
But now it seems, and then internet comes in, and remember how it was such a taboo to be like, oh, well, we met online. Now, no one gives a fuck.
No gives a shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we met on Instagram. Or we met on this.
Great.
I met my girlfriend on Instagram.
Perfect.
You know, who we're back together, by the way.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Cool. Then I'll ignore all the bad things. No, I'm kidding.
You know what's so funny? Your wife's so funny because your wife was like remember that one day I saw her at the store, comedy store, and she was all like, where's Rachel? You know, like, well, you know, you got we have a support group for you know, girlfriends and wives of comics.
She does,
and I was like, oh, that sounds so interesting, you know.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, so tell her. And then I told her about it. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, you know, they got this support group, and she went like this. Oh my god, I need that.
Yeah.
Because I want to ask them, how do they deal with like the travel and the diva behavior?
I love that she threw in diva behavior.
I was like, what you diva? And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, because like when you're in entertainment, I don't care how hot the girl is,
sure,
you're the focus.
Yeah,
I don't care how hot she is. Like, let me just let you know out there right now, it don't matter. Like when I'm out,
that's not men or that's both.
Yeah,
male, female.
Oh yeah. Whoever the and it's hard because like, you know, she's beautiful, she models, she's used to getting a lot of attention, and then we out in public and people are coming over to us like, oh shit, Montez, what's up? And it's like, you know, you're like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it becomes this kind of weird it's interaction, and it's hard. It's hard for somebody who's like been, you know, catered to just for being beautiful for a long time.
Sure,
you know, it's
sure.
crazy.
It's a hard dichotomy. I was lucky enough in that my wife does not like the spotlight. She doesn't want to be in the spotlight.
Kind of
she wants to be behind the scenes. She wants to help. Yeah. She loves helping. I love the fact that
you guys are adorable together.
I really found like a really good, like, in term, not just like the person where you go, oh my god, you talk about checking boxes. Yeah, fucking checks all the boxes. So I'm
that's
thrilled.
Good, man.
So like, yeah, sure, we fight sometimes, but I think that's natural. But then like, you at the end of the day, I go, yeah, we had that little fight about the dishes or whatever. But then while I was out doing podcast, she got all the merchandise ready to go on the road that weekend.
What, or like, you fight about the dishes? Like,
I don't know. It doesn't work.
I was about to say, because I think that would be a fight all the time. Are you always like, bitch, I can't reach the dishes. Dishes up here, bitch.
Yeah. No, someone gave me, because I was asking advice and stuff like that about relationships with a comedian couple that's been married a really long time. And one of the things they said that has been so helpful to me is that when I'm gone, and this is going to be even more so when there's a child in the house, which January 18th, we'll get into that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Due date.
I didn't know that. Congratulations.
Yeah, she popping.
Wow.
January 18th, having a baby girl. We'll get into that. So like, there is a world, there is an ecosystem that exists without me on the road. There is that house functions in a certain way that she has set up, and it functions really well.
Right.
When I come in and
fuck it up, there got to be step ladders everywhere. I mean, you must have a lot of ladders in your house. I'm always curious about that.
I actually do. Let's see. I have two.
Do you have like those library ladders? Where it's
just slide them over. I have two major stools downstairs. I have two upstairs, and then a big ass ladder in the garage, which someone gave me as a wedding gift, and I wasn't even like hating on it. I was like, thank you. This will get used.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, she creates this perfect world for her, and then I come into that world when I'm home for 3 days,
disrupting
and
shit.
Now I want the world to be catered to me.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Very frustrating. But now that we know that, we can identify that and be like, okay, what do you need me to do? And we have this thing where we say to each other, like, okay, this is what I hope to get from you today. And she's like, okay, and this is what I need from you today. And it could be simple things like tasks and chores, or it could be like, hey, I need a lot of compliments today. I'm having a low day.
You say that?
Yeah, like I need you to tell me, like,
you.
hey, thank you, like, just thank me for, like, you know, providing.
Oh, I feel you.
Do that for me today because I need that today. And she'll be like, no problem, I got you. Or like, you know, she'll tell me like, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm 6 months pregnant. Like, I'm feeling not very pretty. Tell me I look pretty today, please. And I'll be like,
you.
no problem. I got you.
Yeah.
You know,
Good for you.
or like, whatever things she organized, I'll be like, comment on that.
I'm itching on the inside right now. So your wife's pregnant, and
Yeah.
so like, but like what you know the burning question.
Oh, dwarf or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. We find out in early November. We have a doctor's appointment. They find out at 30 weeks, and we're like,
oh wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So is it like that'd be hilarious if it was like that you had to have like so you, like if you didn't want to know anything, so you don't know if it's gonna be you're gonna be blue or pink, or
Right.
shit has to be really little.
Right. Yeah, we don't know.
How do you feel about that? Are you like,
I don't
what's your real, wait?
I mean, you don't care because obviously I've led
You've
a
lived,
pretty good life.
Yeah, look at
I'm
you.
doing good things with and it hasn't really. I've only had one dwarf-related surgery. A lot of us have surgeries, which is very unfortunate. But at the same time, it will be difficult for me if she is a little person, knowing that. Oh, like I did that to you. Like that. Like anytime that she has any problem. Anytime where it's like, oh, I have to have surgery, or this guy rejected me, or this guy or girl like only wanted me because I'm a little person, like that's gonna go, or like I had to do this, or I couldn't go out for the sports team. I'm gonna go, oh fuck, that's my fault. Like that part of it's gonna be really hard. But overall, I know that she's gonna be great
And loved.
either way. Loved like an insane amount.
Well, thanks for sharing that, man. That's like a dude. I'm all emotional right now because
you should have seen us when we heard the heartbeat for the very first time.
Oh wow,
just tears.
I can imagine.
Tears, man.
So
It was great.
and then she must be obviously she's okay with it, or why would she even have married you in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
she can't be mad. Like,
no,
look what you did. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's like, oh no, like you have sex with a little person.
Yeah.
So
Like,
this
really?
shouldn't have been a shock,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a cool thing where we were trying. It's not. It wasn't a surprise. We were ready. But yeah. And for the comics that don't have kids that are now asking me like, hey, what's it like? And even though she's not born yet, I still know what it's like to like have a pregnant wife and all that. And I go, here's what it's like: is when you find out that your wife is pregnant or your girl is pregnant or whatever, every little problem that you had,
It just goes away.
You don't.
You
think
mean like
about it.
personal problems or even issues that you had with her? Yeah.
All.
Well, that's good to know.
All that. It go, and I don't want to say that as in like, hey, so if you're having problems in the relationship, have a kid. It fixes everything. Like,
Get her pregnant.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're having
Worst
problems,
advice.
Yeah. Focus on those problems. Fix those first. But yeah, like all like if
That's really more a testament to your relationship with her.
Thank you. And it's like also all that goes away, and you're just like, okay, now we have a focus. Now everything becomes about this baby.
Are you
like,
has it changed your work ethic? Are you like thinking about okay, I got to go to this many road dates. I got to make sure I do this, that, and this.
I have more pressure, obviously, to earn more to provide, but at the same time, there's pressure to also be home so you can.
It's so hard.
Have those moments. So
that's a difficult thing. It's like this is the life you chose. You know what I mean? So it's hard to be like, well, why aren't you home all the time? Because that's why the lights are on.
Yeah, all this has got to work.
Yeah, you want these lights working?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You want to just like be doing nothing on a Tuesday?
Yeah,
you know, how you want this to go? Like, that was one of the problems that I had. The reason why we broke up, and now now we're back. So things have changed. So we'll see. But it's a tough balancing.
My wife will be so happy to hear that you guys are back together. She loved her.
Yeah, she's great. She's she's a doll.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing, and now like there's a nursery in the house. We're getting changing tables that have a stairway on them, so I can climb up the changing table.
Wow, hilarious.
Doing shit like that. There's like you're supposed to have like there's a chair where you sit with the baby and like rock it and all that, but like I can't do that because my legs don't touch the ground. So we got video game chairs.
Oh wow!
So I can sit on a video game chair and then my legs touch the ground. And I can rock the. Yeah, there's all these little things.
It's like a show, Dwarf Dad.
Yeah. I mean, if I had no soul, I could totally have a reality show and just like Dwarf Dad. But yeah, you won't. True. Yeah, you won't see. You won't see.
On the learning, you're not gonna be on the Learning Channel.
No, I'm not gonna be on the fucking Creep Show network.
By the way, so I can't stand.
Yeah.
Like any housewife shows.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's just women being ratchet and like these men and the men that have made horrible decisions.
Yeah.
And these relationships are the way it's so terrible.
And we get it. It's all amped up because they want to make a show. So they take the worst parts of people and then just like send those to the roof.
I said, how can they make this better? And they did. They got Little Housewives.
Oh, that's right. The Little Women shows.
And I was like, it's like I feel so guilty when I watch these shows because they're so like the people, they're so terrible. Yeah. And then maybe they're not, and it's just what they're showing for entertainment purposes. Yeah. But like, do you ever look at something like that and be like, oh, these bitches are setting us back?
I mean, I look at it as, hey, we could be ratchet hoes just like you tall people.
Gotcha.
Like that's full equality.
We're normal too.
Yeah, like whatever you're best, you know, you're fucking best actor, cool. Dinklage, we got that, you know, like and now you're worst, you're ratchet ass hoe. We got that too. And I shouldn't say ratchet ass because I've dated 2 of them. But
actually that's interesting to know. So you just had like a wide net.
I had range.
Like, you were like, if you little, I'm with you. You tall as fuck, I'm with you.
My shortest girlfriend was 3'7". My tallest girlfriend was 5'11".
Okay,
so I got range.
Let me ask you this:
I got
like,
range.
In comparison,
sure.
Like is like this is. I'm not trying to be like, but it's
no,
like
no. You have me here. This is why you have me here.
But like what like. Obviously, you have your wife. You love your wife. Okay.
Of course.
All right. So let's just take her out of the equation.
Yeah.
But in your single years,
sure.
So like sex with a dwarf, is that easier to manage, or did you enjoy that just as much as you enjoyed like having to like tackle Mount Everest?
You know what?
Or was it more difficult for the tall girl, or easier? Like what are the pros and cons of both sides?
Oh man, because like I had fun, and I hate this because it sounds like a diplomatic answer, and I try to answer all questions honestly, but I really had great time with both. Like,
okay, good. That is good to know. There wasn't like a thing where you were like, oh, I have to go through this.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't like you just in that moment.
Yeah,
it was just great. The intimacy is great.
It's great.
That's good to know.
I will say this about dwarf girls is if I'm with a tall woman,
that ass, huh?
That ass, man. If I'm with a tall woman, if she's shaved, that's cool,
right?
If I'm with a dwarf woman, can't be shaved.
Really?
For me, because they're tiny legs, shaved. It reminds me too much of a kid,
like a little baby.
Yeah, I can't.
You gotta answer me. That's so fucking hilarious.
I can't. Like, I remember one time I was hooking up with this dwarf chick, and she was shaved, and I looked down, and I was like, "Oh God, no, no, I can't do this." And I get it. You want to be sexy and all that shit, just like everybody else. But in that moment, for me, that did not work.
She looked like a little Cabbage Patch.
Yeah. It was so bad. I felt so awful, and because I don't want to look at someone and be like, "Don't do this," you know.
Right. No, but that's called preference. It's totally fine.
Yeah, and yeah. So and now I've gotten to the point where I actually like hair on whatever, tall, short, whatever.
So you get to a certain age, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, he's like,
I realize a lot of times it's like their own projection. You know.
Sure.
You know, they're just like, I need to shave. I need to do all these things, and I'm like, you fine. Come here with your stank. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let me smell you. Smell your underarms.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's fine.
There's something about that kind of pheromones, whatever it is like that. But well, that's interesting. Look, dude, I really appreciate that. Like, you're so open, and I'm actually glad you came on and had this conversation. I actually want to bring you back another time so we could like just strictly talk about movies the whole time.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do like a summer movie preview or like a winter
kind of
movie
stuff.
preview.
Yeah, I would
like
love to. I would love to do that with you.
We're ranking shit.
I'm gonna have all Brad's information underneath down here. You have all this information.
Yeah, and,
what you got going on? Tell me.
Well, here's a big one. Is that Adam Ray and I we have the About Last Night podcast, but we're doing this for the very first time. We're doing a cruise.
Oh, that's great.
We're doing a cruise.
About Last Night cruise.
Yeah. So it's the Adam and Brad Spooktacular at Sea because it's happening October 30th through November 2nd of 2020. So a year from now.
Wow.
A year from now. Go from Long Beach to Mexico.
Uh-huh.
We're going to have shows. We're going to have a live podcast. We're going to have meet and greets. We're going to have the goddamn comedy jam come on. So,
Oh,
So there's going to be some
wow.
karaoke,
That
some
sounds
bands.
hilarious.
It is
Why
going
don't
to
you
be a great
get more
time.
comics to come on there?
Because then we have to pay them.
Okay. I was just trying to get invited in that. You see what happened there. You can go. You go to carnival.com.
Yeah. No, so go to travelbyparker.com.
Listen, I'm gonna get all this information from you.
Yep.
We're gonna put it all down below.
Travelbyparker.com. There'll be
go on the cruise.
It's the same person that does the Adam Carolla cruises. So you'll see his photo, you'll see our photo, and yeah, it'll just be a great time. It'll be like because you're on a boat, here's the thing. It's Halloween weekend, so there's gonna be costume
People
contests.
are gonna be crazy.
How many times do you not make any Halloween plans, and all of a sudden it's Halloween? You're like, oh fuck, I didn't think about it. I didn't do anything.
For me, Halloween's not even a real holiday. Like you still got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah,
you got to go to work on Halloween. That's not.
So our thing is, if you're one of those people that's like you never make Halloween plans, but you want to do something fun, boom, book your trip, book your cabin, done. You have your Halloween plans for next year taken care of. You're gonna be on a boat going to Mexico with a Jew and a midget. Come on.
There it is, guys.
That's good.
And actually, Adam Ray's coming on in the next couple of weeks, so I'm gonna have him on too. Because he actually came on when it wasn't like this.
Oh, okay.
He came on when I was like bullshit. It was like
And
so. I said to him, I said you got to come back and do it right. So
you got the brick wall. You got a fern.
Yeah, I got my thing there.
You got the tree.
I got other art over here that I got to start putting up.
So great.
But anyways, guys, this is Brad Williams. Thanks for coming on, dude. Like I said, thanks for sharing your some personal things.
No problem.
Congratulations on being a new dad. And,
Thank you.
And then I wish you the best either way, no matter what happens. Either way, I know you're gonna manage that. I love your wife. Let's go on a double. You know what I mean?
Love to.
Yeah, let's just set that up.
Because we're gonna have the kids soon. Cause
we should do that before. Yeah,
we either got to go out or because once we have the kid, I'm taking 3 months off. So like, come over. Everyone, come over. Come over.
We'll do that.
Yeah,
that sounds like a plan. Once again, guys, I want to thank Brad Williams for coming on, and please subscribe, share, go to all the links, and thanks for watching Riffin with Griffin, and I'll see you next week.